Hello everybody, welcome to Doodles Bakes. Today I am wearing my cat apron because I'm a cool cat. I am making a savory dish, a mushroom and cheddar cheese quiche with green bell peppers and some onion and garlic. Quiches are one of my favorite things to make because they're really easy generally. And it's one of those things that you can whip up and make a really nice meal out of just what's left in the fridge. So today I had one box of mushrooms left and one green bell pepper and a couple onions left before we got groceries for the week. So a quiche it is. I'm also going to share with you my go-to recipe for savory pie crust or a savory quiche crust. It's an olive oil based crust and it doesn't use any dairy, but it's super flexible and easy and you don't even have to roll it out. You can, but you don't have to. So without further ado, let's get started. So in this quiche, we are going to put 1.5 cups of plain flour, or 225 grams, about half a teaspoon of salt, 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, and 1/3 of a cup of oat milk. And then for the actual quiche egg filling, 5 eggs, half a cup of full-fat Greek yogurt, plain, some salt, some pepper, 1 small onion, 1 green bell pepper, chopped roughly, box of chopped chestnut mushrooms, and of course garlic. Can't forget garlic. I use 1 clove. And of course, cheddar cheese. 60 grams or thereabouts of cheddar cheese. I think it works out to be about a half a cup. First things first, I have to cook down my onions and my bell pepper and my mushrooms a little bit so that they don't release so much moisture into my quiche mix when they bake in the oven. I'll start with the onion and the bell pepper. When frying your veggies, you always want to make sure that your pan is super hot and ready to go. I'm using my cast iron skillet because I use it for mostly everything, but you can use whatever pan you normally use to fry up veggies. So I'm just waiting until my onions turn kind of clear, translucent, and until the bell peppers are nice and soft on a medium to low heat. This should take about 5 minutes. Time to add my garlic. I'll just use my garlic smoosher. I don't add the garlic right away because I think it's really easy to burn garlic, and especially when it's so finely smooshed or chopped. So I just wanted to add it at the last second before I add my mushrooms, just to toast it a little bit. Mushrooms have so much moisture in them, so I tend to add them after I've already sauteed my other ingredients for a little while first. So I'm going to let that be for a little bit while I work on my pie crust. In this bowl, I have 1.5 cups of plain flour, or about 225 grams, and half a teaspoon of salt. In this measuring cup, I have 1/3 of a cup of olive oil and 1/3 of a cup of cold oat milk. You can use any non-dairy milk. You could even use water. You could even use dairy milk if that's what you have. I just used oat milk because it's the milk that I buy. I'm just going to whisk those 2 together so that the salt's not all on the top. Next, I'm going to thoroughly stir my oil and my cold milk together. This really is the easiest pie crust, and it's actually deliciously flaky. Now I take that same fork and stir and pour at the same time, and it'll work itself into kind of a ball. Sometimes I have to add a little bit more liquid or a little bit more flour. It just kind of depends. Take a break from that and go back to my veggies. Stir a little bit. So for now, my pie crust looks like this, and I just have to get my fingers a little bit messy, smoosh it all together. Just push it against the sides of the bowls and try and gather all the crumbs up with your fingertips as you push it in. If you were gonna roll this pie crust, I would add just a tiny bit more liquid. However, since I'm just gonna push it into my quiche pan, I'm happy with it as crumbly as it is. Another thing I love about this recipe for crust is that you don't really have to chill it in the fridge or the freezer at all. But again, if you were gonna roll it, it is good to chill it. So I've got my quiche dish here. Any pie dish will do. A quiche dish is made to have quite deep edges, not slanted edges, so that's why it's for quiche. Got my dough here. I'm just gonna put it in the middle and smoosh it into the dish. It's not gonna be the most beautiful quiche you've ever seen. It's not gonna be the most evenly rolled out, but for sake of having a quick, good dinner, or lunch, or breakfast, this is what I'm gonna do. So now I've got my pie crust all smooshed into the dish, and my veggies are ready to come off the stove. So I'm gonna pop both of those, the crust and the veggies, into the fridge for a few minutes while I whisk together my 5 eggs and my ½ cup of yogurt. So I've got salt and pepper in there. Should be nicely seasoned. It's probably about ½ teaspoon of salt. And now for assembly of the quiche. First you put the veggies in, then I'll sprinkle some cheese in, then I'll pour the mixture in, and then I'll put the rest of the cheese on top. So I've got my sauteed veggies out of the fridge, and they're just cool enough that they won't cook the egg or melt my pastry. When I assemble my quiches, I usually do about 2/3 of my filling on the bottom, and then I sprinkle some cheese if I'm using it, about half of my cheese. Who doesn't love cheesy eggs? Then I pour my egg mixture on top, all of it. Tip it a little bit to get it even. Then I put the rest of my filling in, sprinkled haphazardly across the top. The last step is the cheese. And there we go. A mushroom and cheddar bell pepper quiche. I'd say that's ready to go in the oven. So I had the oven preheating to about 375 degrees while I was making the quiche, because it comes together really quickly. I leave it in there for about 35 to 45 minutes. You just want to leave it in until it's nicely puffed and golden brown on top. So the mushroom and cheddar quiche is out of the oven, and I think it looks gorgeous. I hope you give this recipe a try at home. If you do try it at home, try this quiche crust and please let me know what you think in the comments below. Once I figured out how to make a flaky olive oil crust, it changed my life, honestly. You'll be making quiches all the time. Let me know if you try making a quiche at home. Tag me in your Instagram stories so I can see your quiches. Well, that's all. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to click subscribe and smash that like button. I always wondered what it feels like to say smash the like button. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and check out my Instagram feed to see what I bake on a weekly basis. See you next time around.